So without further ado, everyone, let's give it up for Dan. Dan, would you go ahead and turn your camera on and come join us?
Hey
And in
Brian.
the chat, everyone, say hello. Give a hello to Dan in the chat.
Hi, Dan.
Hi guys. Good to see all of you again and a couple of new faces here. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you guys all had a good New Year.
Hi, Dan.
Hi guys. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see everybody. Yeah, so for my New Year's, unfortunately, after our session last week, I started to come down with a little bit of sickness. So pretty much all week, my wife and I have both just been, unfortunately, just kind of hanging out. We didn't get to go out to see our friends because we didn't want to get anyone else sick. So we just stayed in and had a very low key New Year's. Just kind of watched, the festivities from afar. So unfortunately, that was the case. But we just hung out with our dogs here at home and celebrated the New Year at our home. Starting to feel better finally. I still have a little bit of a cough. If you guys hear me cough, I might have to mute because it's kind of wicked. I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat and stuff still, but that's good thing we're virtual here, so I can't get anyone else sick. So, but it's good to see everyone. I'm excited to continue with this series of all of you guys, and let's just do a quick show of hands, or put it in the chat. Have you guys made some progress with any of your app ideas this week? Have you done anything with any of them? Okay,
Let's
cool,
throw in the
cool.
chat.
Yeah, does anyone raise your hand if anyone wants to share any kind of progress that you guys made, or hey, there's one. Mansi?
Yeah, so last week I was not there, so I did not make any progress as such.
Oh,
I would need help today.
not a problem. Not a problem. That's what we're here for.
Can we ask Ion? Ayon?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. My team, our team actually, we are still we have decided on we are thinking about a few ideas because after rigorous thinking about our previous ideas, we came up with a few major flaws that would affect our app. So we are still currently in mostly the ideation stage. We have some better ideas and we are just trying to decide which ones we are going to implement.
Ah, that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you got to pivot, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Can we get
Um,
Aditi next?
yes,
Oh yeah, I didn't mean to raise my hand. I did it by accident.
Oh, no
got
worries.
it.
No worries. Any updates to share with us?
Yeah, not much since the last session. We're kind of just working on refining the original idea. That's about it.
Okay.
Great. Cool. And I think we've got can we get Juvika to share with us?
We decided some ideas, but we're still going on with what ideas do we need to do. So there's no little progress in what we have decided.
All right. Pass it back over to Dan.
All right. All right, guys. Well, sounds like we're still kind of in the idea phase, and that's perfectly fine. I don't want you guys to get discouraged or anything. I mean, it's almost, I compare it to when you write a book sometimes, right? Sometimes you can have that idea block or you can kind of be stuck at times, but sometimes that inspiration can just hit you and the idea can come and then boom, you see the whole thing right there. So stay at it, um, one thing I did want to show you guys real quick is once you kind of have your idea, right? We're going to start maybe putting some designs in our mind. You guys might have some ideas of what you might want your app to look like, or, what the screens might need to do in order to actually be able to pull this off. Did you have a question? Go ahead. Go ahead, real quick.
Yeah. So, sir, I was not there for the last class because I've just joined, so I have no idea what it is all about, if I may know.
Yes. So what we're covering here is building your own app.
Oh, things just had some background noise. Sorry,
Okay.
Dan.
Yeah, so what we are doing is we're building apps, we're building software, and we're using tools called no-code tools to be able to bring this idea to life. And what that is they're platforms or their software to be able to build apps, a lot like websites, like a Wix or GoDaddy, those types of things, if you've ever heard of those. But we're building actual apps. What's that?
So is it drag and drop coding or is it proper coding? Because I have been learning coding and to some extent I already know how to create apps and websites.
Yes, so this is a little more drag and drop type of code. Yes.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
then and we talked about this a little bit last time too. There is room for traditional coding inside of some of these things as well. So that's still a very good skill to have. So good question. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys here. Let me share my screen. I go through a process when I'm building an app, either for myself or for a client of mine, to actually get some rough designs in place first. It's very hard to think about building a new house or a new home. If any of you know any architects, they use blueprints. You guys probably have seen blueprints or things like that, right? Where they have kind of the designs and how it's going to work, look and work. The same can be true with your software or your app idea. So what I use is a very simple, sorry, no, I don't want to leave the meeting. Let me share here. What I use is a very simple design process. Do you guys see my screen?
Yep, we see it, Dan.
Okay. So this is a very simple 3-step design template that I use. This is not mine. I can't really give this to you guys. This is through a course that I've been a part of, but I love it and it works really, really well. And this is basically a way you guys can create this on your own paper, on your own computer, whatever it might be. The concept of this is that you are basically going through steps of, okay, here's the first page that someone sees when they open up our app. And then they click on a button or there's something that happens and it moves them to the second page. And then they interact and they do whatever they need to do. And they go to a third page, right? So, and this is really meant for hand drawing things, or, maybe you use something like OneNote or Canva. I know a lot of you have used Canva in the past. Anything to kind of get your ideas into a blueprint that you can then go into Yadalo or Bubble software, whatever you're going to be using to actually build it, right? Because it's very hard to build things from a blank screen. Take it from me, I build a lot of things every single day. And when you just have no ideas to build off of, it's very, very difficult. So here's an example of what something might look like. You have it's like something like a simple YouTube structure, right? You have your video lists. And then when someone clicks on this, it goes to this page where there is the video. And then we have the rest of, other additional videos, things like that, all of those kind of things. So does this make sense to you guys? Am I explaining this correctly enough? I see some heads nodding. Good. So this is an idea and a concept that you guys are free to use. I highly encourage you guys to start using this since you're kind of still in this idea phase. You can either hand draw this, you could model something like this inside of Canva, all those types of things. So I just wanted to show you guys that really quickly. And I want to do a quick little quiz for you guys.
Dan, we just had a quick question for you from Kanvir. Kanvir, would you just ask the question on camera for us?
So my question was that could we use Thunkable as the software if we have to use drag and drop coding?
You could, yes. Yes, that's another very good one to use. Yep. We're going to be using Adalo. If you've ever heard of that, ADALO, that is the one that I was kind of showing last week in the session. It's very similar to Thunkable. I chose this one for us to use because I call it the Apple of no code builders. It's very, very simple, very intuitive, very easy to use. We use it a lot. So that's the one that I recommended that we use. But if you want to use something, if you have some experience like a Thunkable, far be it from me to tell you can't do it. Yeah, absolutely. So let's do a quick quiz question. So do you guys remember the categories of apps that we talked about last week? For those of you who were here last week, do you guys remember the different categories we had talked about? You guys can put it in the chat or raise your hand. Do you guys remember any of the categories we had talked about as far as what apps are out there? Anyone remember?
Let's get some guesses. Let's hear from someone. It's okay to be wrong. Oh, we got some in the chat, Dan.
A lot of new students. Okay. Marketplaces. Yes, that is one. Jabadidi. Yep. Anybody else?
What else we got? Throw some guesses in.
Fitness apps. Yep. Okay. So a couple of the ones I was looking for also are informational, right? Got a lot of you guys had ideas for tracking. There you go. Yep. Informational types of ones. I think there was somebody had an idea last week. What was it? The zoo, kind of going into a zoo and getting information on the animals and things like that. Your team might know. Yeah, there's Tanya. Yep. That's a very good idea for something like an informational type of app, right? There's also tools. Do you guys remember tools? Like your simple flashlight app or things like that. You guys remember those? Okay. But yes, and then a couple of you did have the marketplace ideas. I think there was somebody last week, if I remember, that had the remind me, who was it? Who had the marketplace that is connecting different
Yeah, we had it.
that was speak up?
The one about the musicians connecting the
Yes, that's the
musicians
one.
and the artists.
Musicians, yes. Yep. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Brian, do you have anything to add at the moment?
No, I don't think so. We're getting some great ideas in the chat. And I just encourage everyone, if possible, to turn your cameras on just so we can see everyone. Perfect. So if everyone could just real quick just turn their cameras on here. We're all friendly, don't worry. And also I just encourage everyone, when we're asking questions, it's okay to be wrong. So don't feel like if you don't know exactly 100%, but you feel like you could be right, just post your answer in the chat, raise your hand. We all learn from each other. So if we make a mistake, it's a learning opportunity. But other than that, Dan, back to you.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I think at this point, are we going to go into breakouts and have the guys or the kids be on their teams and keep going through the ideas? Or was that next on the list, guys?
Let's hear from the team. Suraj, you with us? Give us 1 second.
Well, while we're waiting, does anyone have any other questions that we might be
Not
able
yet.
to?
Not yet, Dan.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, does anyone have any questions about anything we covered last week? Anything that maybe you want to get, my or Brian's advice on, or, anything about that, about your ideas?
Got a few hands raised. Let's hear from Conveer.
Sir, I'm unaware of my team.
What was that?
I'm unaware of my team. I don't know which team I'm in.
Okay, that's no problem. Yeah, you're new this week. We'll get you taken care of. That's no problem. Let's see.
Muncie.
Hi, could you please give a quick run through of the session last week?
Yes, very good question. Very good question. So that is pretty much what we had done was kind of go through the overview of the no coding idea around kind of how I mentioned we're building software and apps without having to actually learn the coding languages. Like we talked about kind of using the drag and drop point and click ideas of building software and such. Actually, let me pull that up and I will show you guys the sample to do app that we will that I was building for you guys last week. My share option is not ideal.
And for those that are not sure about teams, don't worry. We'll be putting everyone on a team. We got you all covered. We have the teams already made. So we'll be announcing that in a little bit. So no need to stress about that.
Okay, so for any of you who weren't here last week, you probably won't recognize this. For anyone who was, this is the Adalo app builder where we're actually building your app idea and bringing it to life. I do wish that this functioned a little bit faster. Zoom does tend to slow this down a little bit. But I will show you guys what we had talked about a little bit. So once you guys get signed up and you get an account in here, it is free to use and you can build and you can do anything inside of here absolutely for free. And so that's not a problem. So if you guys have not got your account set up yet, you can go to adalo.com, ADALO, and then it will prompt you to sign up and all that kind of stuff. But this is the simple to-do app that we had talked about and we were kind of rebuilding last week. With the different elements, you can see that it's very easy and very simple to manipulate these kinds of things. It's a really cool and easy way to build software that's fairly simple but still gets the job done. So we talked about that, and then we also just to kind of go back to your question, we broke off into teams last week and we came up with different ideas of ideas that people wanted to build for their apps, and we kind of solidified down to the idea inside of your group of the type of app that we wanted to build in this class. So that was pretty much the session last week. So let me go and pull up the one that I was modeling, and we can kind of build a little bit, and then we're going to go into the breakout rooms. Okay. So let me go back to whenever this loads. We'll go back to the low system resources. Oh, let's close some stuff out. Maybe I'm slowing myself down here.
While that's loading, I'm just curious, has anyone here built an app before? Can we throw in the chat? Who here has built an app? Throw me in the chat. Built or even played around with building out. Okay, Eric's done it. Oh, wow. A lot of people in here. That's awesome. Cool. And for those that haven't, we're all learning how to do this too, so don't worry. Um, Very nice. Me, we got a DT. She's done, wow, Conveer's done it. Can I hear from someone? I want to hear from someone that's done it. Sanjay, would you join us real quick? I just want to hear what your experience was building an app. Sanjay?
Yeah. So basically, I had this class where you could make uh, like apps that would connect to your devices, smart device, smart lights and bulbs. So
Hmm.
basically, I had my tutor help me make it, but I don't know if it works still.
Ah, okay. Very
Yeah,
cool. And how was that experience creating it? Was it challenging? Was it fun?
yeah, it was both.
It was both. Oh,
Yes.
it's great to hear. Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Let's hear from Vivek. Vivek, how was it for you? Vivek, you with us? We'll give him a second. Who hasn't spoken in a while? How about Manya? Manya?
Really fun and interesting to make an app. I've made apps with text coding as well as block coding before, and I prefer text coding because it's at times easier since you don't have like everything available in block coding.
Hmm. Very
Very
cool.
good point.
Nice. Yeah.
Good point.
And I just want to hear from one more. We have a new student with us. And apologies if I'm saying the name wrong. Udyat? Am I saying that right? Udayat?
It's okay, sir. It's Udyat.
Okay, say that one more time for me.
Sir, Udyat. You can call me UD.
UD. Okay, UD, have you had any experience with building an app before?
No, this is my first time and this is my first session here.
Ah, very cool. And would you like to learn how to? Is that something you'd like to learn how to do?
I'll give it a try.
Give it a try. I love that. Awesome. Well, it's great to have you here. I'm going to pass it over to Dan. Thank you for everyone for sharing with us. Back over to you, Dan.
Awesome, guys. So I'm not sure, did anyone stop me from sharing my screen, or did it just die on me? It probably just died on me. Okay. I was just checking because it just stopped and I was like, oh, maybe it's time for me to stop, but maybe that was just my computer. All right, let's go back over to here. So we're gonna work a little bit today when we get in the breakout rooms on your sign up and your login processes inside of here. So a lot of times what's cool with Adalo is when you build a new app, it kind of does this stuff for you, to be honest. But you can always make it from scratch like you want it to do. So for example, one thing that you can do inside of here is you can change the branding. So a lot of it comes very default with these green and yellow colors. But one of the cool things is that you can set a primary and a secondary color throughout the app. So this is really cool because you don't have to go and change every single button color or change every background color. You can just change it one place and then the entire app updates everywhere. So for this one, let's pick like maybe a blue color. And you see how that just changes automatically. And then for our secondary color, I'm very bad with matching colors, but let's maybe pick like a lighter blue like this or something. Maybe tealish color. Okay. So now I have all of the stuff is a completely different color. So you guys can have fun playing with that. You can talk through, different ideas around the color codes that you guys want to have. Can have, to your heart's content, you can change things. Now, as we've talked about before, it should be pretty straightforward in how to edit these types of things because a lot of this will come with your template as you guys build the app. So whatever you want the title to be, you can just type inside of here. And then you have the other page over here where we can do title as well, right? So very simple, very straightforward for you guys. This was what we had built last week when we were modeling after the second one. Another thing we can add here, I'll show you guys. You guys are probably familiar with the, let's see, the navigational bar. Usually you guys have those, options that you can click and choose down here. So that's a really cool, like who was mentioning, some of the components aren't always there with no code tools, but a lot of times this might take you a long time to recode every single time by hand. And now you can just drag and drop it onto here and then away you go. So those are some of the trade-offs of using something like a no code tool. So for this app, we might have a home page. We have a search page. Let's make these a little darker so you can see them. I think I'm missing some of the things in the chat. Awesome. Okay. And then we talked a little bit about last week, some of your database things. Does anyone put in the chat if you're completely foreign to the idea of database? Like it's just a completely foreign idea to you. Do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say databases? Okay. Looks like you guys are. Let's see. Yeah, cool. So the other cool thing about Adalo is that your database is all inside of the software inside of this platform as well. You don't need to have your database somewhere else or off-site somewhere, right? Which is really, really cool. Hey, oh, very good question. Very good question. Some said, hey, I was wondering if we chose mobile app layout only to start off or with both laptop, PC, mobile, etc., which is easier for now? Very, very good question. Some of you will have app ideas that will probably be better for a laptop or an iPad type of view. You can do that with Adalo. I recommend just starting with a mobile view for now. You can always expand it to a PC type of view later. And the reason is if you're going to build something that's, that's kind of usable on all three, you're really building three apps at once. You're building a phone view, you're building an iPad view, and you're building a laptop view. And that's a lot of, believe me, I do this every single day for my job. And that's a lot of, checking and making sure that it's viewable over here. A lot of overlap. So I recommend just stick with the mobile for now, and then you can always expand it because again, it's building a lot faster. So just let's stick to the mobile for now, but that's a very, very good idea. Very good idea.
Great idea. I want to hear from a few people just before we move on. Do we have any questions yet so far? Any questions of what we covered so far? Feel free to raise your hand or you can put in the chat. Any questions so far? There's no bad questions. No bad questions at all. I'd love to hear from, yes, Adiraj.
Hi Dan. Actually, I don't know. I didn't understand anything because I just joined late. So, can you just explain me what have you done till now?
Sure. So we're talking about apps and no code software today. We're learning how the no code builders like this Adalo software work, and how to actually take the idea that you might have for your app idea and turn it into something that's actually usable and can be downloaded as an app.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Awesome. Anyone else? I would love to hear from some of the new students how this has been for you so far. Or anyone really. Siri, are you with us?
Yeah,
Yeah, how is this process for you so far?
it's pretty interesting. I mean, I wasn't able to attend last session, but like I'm understanding quite a bit of it.
Amazing, awesome. Any questions you have so far?
Nothing so far.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, if you do have any, feel free to let us know. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
How about Mishti? Mishti, any questions from Mishti?
No, not any yet.
Not on yet. Okay, cool. Before we move on, does anyone have any questions so far? I would love to do a little challenge if anyone's up for it. I want to give you 30 seconds to just sort of summarize what Dan has explained to us so far. Does anyone, any of the students feel they could do that? Just to sort of be the teacher for a few moments. Any volunteers? Conveer. Oh, we got one. Ion. Aeon. Ion.
Yeah, Brent Sayan, never mind that. Dan went through basically how easy Adalo is to edit, the how you can change the basic theme and not have to manually and meticulously edit everything. If you decide to pivot or change how your app is going to look, he went through what are databases and what are some types of apps.
Nice, very good. Good
Nice.
explanation. Who else? Who else? Let's raise our hands. Who else do we have? Who else can I summarize? Yes, Kanveer.
Yeah, so basically Dan went through what a no-code building software or a database kind of thing is. So basically he just showed how easy Adolo is and how to use it and how you can just change the theme at once and not just go for it again and again. And he also talked about databases, that what we know about databases and how many people of us know. And then I think that's all.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing. Good. We got some very great students here. And who else wants to add? Who else can explain? Give a summary of what Dan has so far explained with us and brought to us. Who else? Let's hear from maybe one more person. Anyone feeling brave? Yes, Mansi.
Hi. So Dan also went through how to change the background, open your app project, select the screen and adjust the background settings in the screen style panel, how to change the background colors. And yeah.
Yeah, very good. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.